Okay, good morning. And here is another Substack reading and some poems. Today's reading is called Remembering the Journey Back to Love. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Rumi. The only thing deeper than fear and hatred is love. This is not a sentimental statement, nor is it an attempt to gloss over the very real suffering of human life. It is a pointing, a reminder that beneath the turbulence of the conditioned mind, beneath the division that defines so much of our world, there is something prior, something vast, unbroken, and unconditional. The human being is conditioned to separation. From an early age, we learn to perceive ourselves as separate entities moving through a world of other separate entities. From that perception arises comparison, defense, fear, and the constant negotiation of identity. In separation, fear is inevitable. And from fear, hatred, conflict, and corruption easily follow. When we are lost in the perceptive world, the world of form, duality, and reaction, we forget our essential nature. We forget that at the deepest level we are not divided. We forget that we are in essence openness, awareness, and consciousness itself. We forget that we arise from love and ultimately return to love. This forgetting gives birth to the self as we commonly know it, the reactive self, the wounded self, the defended self, the self that feels defined by what has happened, the self that says, life did this to me, I am this because of that. This self feels solid, personal, and intensely real. It clings to its story, its grievances, its fears, and even its wounds as proof of identity. But this exploration is not about fixing that self. It is not about constructing a better, more healed, more spiritual version of the self. Healing may occur, and often does, but it is as a byproduct, not the goal. The invitation is to go deeper than the self altogether, to discover the space out of which the self arises. When there is a turning inward, a quiet willingness to look beneath the agitation and the narrative, something begins to open. There is a sense of falling back, not into despair, but into something wider, a spaciousness, an equanimity, a presence that sees thought the way sky sees clouds. Thoughts move, emotions surge, waves rise and fall, yet the sky remains untouched. The ocean remains whole, even as the waves appear upon its surface. To know oneself as the wave alone is to suffer the constant instability of experience. To know oneself as the ocean is to discover depth beneath the movement. This does not mean bypassing experience, denying pain, or pretending that suffering does not exist. On the contrary, it means allowing experience fully, but without being exclusively defined by it. Brokenness is not denied on this path. Wounding is not minimized. Every human being carries hurt. It is natural to feel wounded, to feel lost, to feel broken at times. But there is a profound difference between acknowledging pain and taking it to be the ultimate definition of who we are. When brokenness becomes identity, we contract. When brokenness is seen within a larger field of awareness, something softens. That softening is grace. Life can appear brutal. We are shown horror and suffering on every screen. In our own lives, we encounter loss, illness, betrayal, and uncertainty. It is understandable that the heart closes in self-protection. Yet sometimes it is precisely the breaking of the heart that becomes the doorway. When the heart breaks open rather than hardens, it reveals a depth of love that was previously hidden. This love is not personal possession. It is not dependent on circumstance. It is not a reward for self-improvement. It is the very ground of being, present even in the midst of confusion and reactivity. This life is not a vacation from love. It is the ultimate invitation to know the love that we truly are, even within the apparent illusion of separation. To respond to that invitation requires courage. It requires loosening the tightness around identity, the tightness that insists, this is who I am because this is what happened. It requires the humility to question the solidity of the self and the willingness to rest as presence, here and now, again and again. This is not a journey that everyone feels called to take, and that is perfectly fine. But for many, something stirs, a quiet pull, a longing that cannot be satisfied by rearranging the surface of life. If that call is felt, it deserves to be honored. Beyond the broken self is not annihilation. It is not the emptiness in a nihilistic sense. It is the rediscovery of our essential nature as beingness itself, unconditioned, unborn, undying. From that recognition, the human life continues. The wave continues to rise and fall, but it is no longer so desperately alone. The journey back to love is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what has always been here. A few poems. To sacrifice mind's certainty and fall into not knowing is a devotion that must be courted again and again until silence prevails. We are lovers, you and I. We are the fragrance of the divine emanating into existence. In essence, we are one. Yet we also dance our own dance of love. Everyone is God dancing. Let us sit in the silence that holds everything. All will be just as it is, and we won't touch any of it. Even mind's grasping will quieten, and the noise of the world will fade into the distance. Inside, all our doing, our struggle, our fear, our argument, and our sense of abandonment is a love that never left us, and a divine hand that never abandoned us. Embedded in the darkness of the human experience is the light of our humanity. Love is not somewhere else, but right here within all that is. Last one. You can seek to understand suffering, even explain it with philosophy, but transformation will only come when you let it into your heart and learn how to bear it without closure. Thanks for watching. Bless you.